Hello everyone, this is William Armstrong with a video on, it's called Kasika Ransomware Uses Antivirus Driver to Kill Other Antiviruses. This is on Bleeping Computer, written by Bill Toulos on January 23rd, 2024 at 2:50 p.m. and I'm going to read it to you and give you the TLDR of it. A recently uncovered ransomware operation named Kasika has joined the club of threat actors that employs the Bring Your Own Vulnerable Driver BYOVD tactics to disable antivirus software before encrypting files. Kasika abuses the Martini driver martini.sys virage gt64.sys, part of TG-SOS Virt IT agent system, to disable antivirus products protecting the targeted system. Before I continue, cyber criminals are now going to start using start coding their malware to use vulnerable drivers. By vulnerable drivers, I mean Windows uses driver files for your hardware and software to work correctly, such as your webcam, graphics card, or anything like that. Sometimes antiviruses use drivers in the background to keep your system protected and secure, but this one's serious. According to Trend Micro, whose analysis first discovered and examined Kasika in December 2023, last month, the new ransomware strain features many attack chains and source code similarities with Black Matter ransomware. As Black Matter source code has never been leaked publicly since its shutdown in late 2021, Kasika was likely built by former members of the threat group or experienced ransomware actors who purchased its code. Kasika attacks start with a phishing email sent to employees of the target organization attempting to steal their account credentials, which will then be used for initial access to the corporate network. Next, Kasika operators abuse the Windows PS exec tool to execute malicious .bat files. .bat files are known as batch files, hence .bat, the file extension of Windows and MS-DOS, on any affected system, and others they have access through lateral movement. The batch file checks for the presence of a process named martini.exe and terminates it to avoid interference. Next, it downloads a vulnerable martini.sys driver on the machine. The presence of that driver is crucial in the attack chain. Let me show you this image, but this is the image of the vulnerable signed driver by Virt. It's a Virt IT agent system and is written by TG-Soft. This is the digitally signed vulnerable driver that the malware looks for and takes advantage of. TG-Soft appears to be an Italian company, but the malware particularly looks for that particular certificate. It's got that virtual certificate, but it also looks for that vulnerable driver and starts downloading it that causes the malware to terminate other antivirus processes it detects. Hang on. Okay then. As Kasika will not proceed further if the Martini service creation fails or the martini.sys isn't found in the system. By using BYOVD attacks, or known as Bring Your Own Vulnerable Device Driver attacks, aka exploiting flaws in the loaded driver, the malware gains the privileges to terminate 991 processes from a hard-coded list, with many of which correspond to antivirus products, security tools, analysis tools, and system utilities. Before I continue, I'll give you an explanation. .sys is a system file called .sys in Windows. That's what it's called, .sys, or system files. Like .sys is the extension. Like a driver file ends with a .sys extension. That's what it is. Things like that. And now let me continue. The Kasika eventually executes martini.exe to terminate any AV processes and then launches the main ransomware binary smartscreen_protected.exe. After this, it runs a clear.bat script to remove the attack traces. Now, if this particular type of malware was on a computer, it'd be easy to defeat this type of malware by deleting the martini.sys driver file easily. Technical experts will be able to know how to do that, to defeat the malware just by deleting that martini.sys file and things like that, and other files related to it. But the problem is once when ransomware encrypts your system, you won't be able to get it decrypted. You won't be able to get the files decrypted too well. But you can defeat this particular malware by deleting the martini.sys driver file on an infected machine on a Windows machine to get rid of it. Partial get rid of it, quote unquote. Asterisk, partial get rid of it. Kaiseka, I already read about that, but let me say this. Kaiseka is a sneaky malware. It says here, the ransomware utilizes the CHA-CHA20 and RSA encryption algorithms to encrypt target files, appending a pseudo-random string to the file name similar to black matter. Black matter and Kaiseka malware, or Kaiseka ransomware and black matter ransomware share a random pseudo string to the file name similar to black matter ransomware. Kaiseka drops a ransom note in every directory that it has encrypted and also changes the computer's wallpaper to display a note about the attack. This is the attack chain diagram. The email is the initial access arrival, then privilege escalation is radmin, mimikatz, and then execution lateral movement is the PS exec Kaiseka. It then reaches its command and control server and downloads the vulnerable driver files and things like, or downloads the files. And then the defense evasion is a pin CAV, a clear log, and an abused driver that will automatically deliver the payload. And then the Kaiseka ransomware encrypts the system and then drops the ransom after its initial attack vector is complete. Finally, Kaiseka clears system event logs post-encryption using commands like vutil.exe to erase traces of its activities and make security analysis harder. This type of malware makes itself harder to detect or harder to actually analyze for cybersecurity researchers because this malware tries to delete its tracks to make it harder for security analysis like cybersecurity researchers harder to detect and analyze this. In the attack seen by Trend Micro, victims were given 72 hours to deposit 50 bitcoins, that's $2 million, with another $500,000 added every 24 hours of delay in resolution. The victims are expected to post a screenshot of payment proof on a private Telegram group to receive a decryptor within the maximum deadline for doing so, set to 120 hours or 5 days. Trend Micro has published the indicators of compromise and IOCs related to the Kaiseka malware threat separately in this text file. Let me just swipe on over to Trend Micro. Hang on. This is Trend Micro's write-up on the malware that they've detected. Trend Micro has. It's known as Trojan Win.64.pincav.a. There's most viruses usually written as Win.Win32, but this Trojan is .Win64, but previously in the early 2000s, this one has a Trend Micro alias of Trojan.Win64, but the aliases are VHO, Trojan Win32, Pincav.Gen is recognized by Kaspersky. It targets Windows, but its damage potential is medium, and it's a Trojan type. It's in the wild. It says here, this Trojan arrives on a system file as dropped by other malware or as a file downloaded unknowingly by users when visiting malicious sites. Note, you should never visit a malicious site. You should never visit any malicious sites out there on the internet. Don't go opening attachments or downloading files from shady websites. You don't know where they're from, otherwise you're in trouble if you do. And I repeat, I don't condone downloading files from shady websites either. I just don't condone it. It says this Trojan terminates the following processes if found running in the affected system's memory. I'm not going to read all of these exe files of antivirus and antivirus analysis tools. I won't read all of these because it goes from alphabetical order from A all the way down to, let's see, from about A to Z. I'll jump to the end of this page and read other details. This Trojan does the following. It creates and initiates a service within the following details: name Martini, display name Martini, type driver, start type demand start, binary path malware file path martini.sys. It terminates the following Trend Micro applications. DSA.exe, basically it'll terminate anything Trend Micro related. So if you have Trend Micro, Avast, or any other antivirus on your computer, this malware will automatically terminate it. And it says here, it will terminate itself if one of the following conditions are met. If the Martini service creation fails, if it fails to find the martini.sys in the system, if it fails to open the virtual device named / dot / veradget IT, something like that. It's hard to pronounce that last part. So this malware will automatically just self-destruct itself, meaning it'll just terminate itself if the Martini service creation fails, or if the martini.sys driver file is not in the system, or if it fails to open the virtual device named VIRAGTIT. Well, if it fails to find the virtual device or the system driver file, or the service creation fails, this malware will terminate itself. This automatically will give you solutions on how to deal with it on Trend Micro, but there's instructions to do that. Step 1. Trend Micro predictive machine learning detects and blocks malware the first sign of its existence before it executes on your system. When enabled, your Trend Micro product detects this malware under the following machine learning name: Troj.win32.trx.xxpe50FF075. It says Step 2 says before doing any scans, Windows 7, Windows 8, and Windows 8.1 and Windows 10 users must disable System Restore to allow full scanning of their computers. Note that not all files, folders, and registry keys and entries are installed on your computers during this malware, spyware, grayware's execution. This may be due to incomplete installation or other operating system conditions. If you do not find the same files, folders, registry information, please proceed to the next step. Restart in safe mode and then delete the registry key. Warning! I'm going to say warning! Important. Editing the Windows registry can incorrectly lead to reversible system malfunction. Please do this step only if you know how, or you can ask your assistance from your system administrator. Else, check this Microsoft article first before modifying your computer's registry. The registry key that it has is HKey local machine /system /current control set /services /martini. That is the registry key that particular malware has tied to it. So if you were to delete that registry key, things like that, you'd be able to kind of partially get rid of the malware. But it says here, restart your computer normal mode on step 5 and scan your computer with your Trend Micro product for files detected as Trojan Win64.pencav.a. If the detected files have already been cleaned, deleted, or quarantined by your Trend Micro product, no further step is required. You may opt to simply delete the quarantine files, so things like that. Other than that, I know it seems like a big mouthful, but TLDR is this particular nasty ransomware is designed to terminate other antivirus processes if it detects it running in memory. But other than that, this is William Armstrong signing out. See you next time, and don't get caught by cyber criminals, otherwise you're in trouble if you get caught by them.